And we should be live on our international group and then again on our Quality Games and Acheron Games page. Hello, everyone. Let's do the let's do the usual, first 30 seconds of waiting for people to arrive while a bit embarrassingly look into each other's eyes and talking about nothing. As I was saying, we are live on our Facebook groups and page, but then again, this live stream will then be uploaded on YouTube. So hello to you, YouTube audience as well. Today I'm here with Enrico Borro and Ian Hathaway, which are the editors of the Lex Arcana line and the curators and editors and authors of the book we are going to talk about today, which is the Rise of Atlantis, which is a new book in the Lex Arcana line, which we'll talk about extensively. I want to say.
We couldn't be more excited to enter the Lex Arcana world with this particular episode of it. This, very, very exciting.
We did reveal a tiny version of the cover on our Kickstarter pre-campaign page, which I am copying and pasting on in the comments as we speak. Just as a little reminder to go and put the follow on the pre-campaign page, which is extremely important for us because this way we know how many of you are interested in our project. And then also for you, because this way you receive an email as a memo to go see the campaign once it goes live, so you can immediately be sure to get the early bird bonus, which is a lovely map designed by Francesco Mattioli about the whole empire. So,
it can look beautiful on a wall, so you really want to get one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Atlantis, a name, a legend, chock full of ideas. The moment one says the word Atlantis, it brings us so many suggestions and ideas and memories of things we may have watched or read as when we were children. For example, to me, Atlantis immediately brings to mind the Disney movie, which is incredibly adventurous and fun. So the first question I want to ask you is, what were your references when you started working on Atlantis, on the Rise of Atlantis?
Yeah, absolutely. So the book actually has quite a few references in it. Part of it has to do with the legend of Atlantis, and so we have references that go, we have a imaginary to draw upon that goes all the way from Plato to Disney, essentially, passing through many different iterations, even into comic books, etc. So there's a lot to draw upon, and the adventure, the campaign, actually, it's a very, very, very long adventure, benefits from having had quite a few heads working on it. We would like to say that, so the Rise of Atlantis is a campaign originally written by Davide Mana, Mauro Longo, who is one of the masters of the Lex Arcana line, has revisioned the first manuscript, and we have the honor to sort of bring it to fruition with just a few, working on those, working that chisel to get it just perfect, just right. And so because different people have had a chance to pour their ideas in here, there are a lot of different, I think, ways of thinking about Atlantis that are showcased. But there also is one version that is the Lex Arcana version of it, which we won't say too much about it because you need to play the game to find out.
Enrico, for you, your references?
My reference is surely The Secrets of Blue Water. Yes, I know also the English title is imaginary. For those who don't know, it's anime by Studio Gainax, the same studio that brought to us Neon Genesis Evangelion, and we or at least I have taken some scenes, some ideas from the show as well, in order to create and describe to the players, to the Custodes, the world of Lex Arcana and the world of Atlantis that we have finally a glimpse on about it.
Absolutely. And that's actually a
Also
very
the
good
robots.
segue. Yeah. Oh, Enrico drops the bomb. We won't go any further into this direction. But yeah, absolutely. That's a very fun part of it. But it was a very good segue before the bomb dropping, because actually a question that some custodians had was how this kind of campaign of adventure of expedition, as it's the name of the line, which this will be the first book in, how this kind of very long adventure take part into the Lex Arcana world, since it's going to be outside the borders of the Empire in part. So it's something very different from what we were used to.
Yeah, this is true. So this is it's very exciting because it's a bit of old and a bit of new, and we are bringing the first official campaign for this second edition of Lex Arcana, but we're also doing something even more special, I think, which is developing hopefully a new line of Lex Arcana books, which will be the expeditions, which will be very adventure themed. And will bring the Custodes all around the Empire and especially outside of the Empire to see glimpses of the world outside of Rome and beyond Rome. However, Rise of Atlantis does bring us across the Mediterranean, so we get a chance to visit some new places, but also some places that have been already explored in some of the Lex Arcana lore. For example, Egyptus plays an important role in the campaign. And it also plugs into some storylines that had been developed prior to it, and that actually it really gets going with a very action-packed sort of first act that closes off a few loose threads that were left over from previous adventures, I would say.
Yeah, I was better aware of an Indiana Jones never released comic. I don't want to say comic book, but comic narration, balloon narration in our previous live in Italian. And I want to say that that's not directly connected, but I do feel a very Indiana Jonesy vibe into this adventure, into this campaign. Marco asks us expeditions to Thule, Hyperborea, and perhaps India and China. If the line goes well, I want to say.
So
if
you've
this
mentioned
line,
some of the ones I really want to do. So hopefully, yes.
Yeah, we have to see if Custodes will enjoy this first campaign, if the feedback is good. We are surely loving developing this and writing this and try to expand the Lex Arcana world. So why not? The answer is always why not. But then again, the feedback has to be good. We have to see that you Custodes enjoy using this book, these handbooks.
I will say too that despite being new in many ways, it also is just a great way to dive right into the Lex Arcana world. So it doesn't, though it has connections to previous materials, you don't need to have played those materials, have those books. Of course, if you want to have all the Lex Arcana books, I'm not going to stop you, but this is something that you can play in its own right, and you can jump right into it with a brand new contubernum of new recruits. And if you're so brave as to do that, good luck. But the campaign is built in such a way that it allows for flexibility in terms of who is in the group. If they're recruits, they might need to take some paths. If they're more experienced characters, they might be able to take some other paths. And it really is an experience that can be ideal, both for new players and for veterans. That's the goal.
And that's why this book will be thick, like thick. We don't want to say it too loud for our production manager, but it will be thick. Helio says to me that Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was also a popular PC game from the early 90s.
True.
Cool. We have Marco's full support, but that was, I think, a thing that we are
the leader of the legions, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So, but thank you again, Marco, for for saying that. It's very important to us. As I've said numerous times, the games without players is not a game. It's a book printed with some words on it. So it's very important to us that what we do actually resonates with our players. Yay to thick books. Thank you. So we already tackled a little bit what will be the references to the other Lex Arcana volumes. So we talked about Egyptus. There's definitely a touch and go, at least in Sardinia, that we can say. And then other regions that I do think they have not been covered by their own handbook, their own regional extension. So you will also have a little bit of a sneak peek to other regions of the empire that we still haven't encountered, haven't delved deep into.
Exactly. Hispania, for example.
We'll enjoy a small trip in Iberia, Hispania, for example.
Yeah,
one of the starting point of the campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Marco also talks about a missing prophecy that was mentioned in Dacia and Tracia. I'm not sure about the English pronunciation, I'm sorry. Mentioned again in Britannia. I think this talk will be for another time.
I am going to say that prophecies do matter to this round of Lex Arcana, but I'm not going to say to what and where.
Yeah, exactly. There's 3 books. So,
Who knows?
Exactly. But will there be any other reference to any other book? I think that the thing that I want to highlight the most is that you do not need the Egyptus handbook to play the Rise of Atlantis. Just as you don't need to be an experienced player to start playing Lex with Atlantis. We try to, I say we as like I actually did some of the writing, but that's all Enrico and Ian work.
And others before us.
And others before you, but let's say generic, we work to try and make this campaign, just like we did with the previous campaign, a good starting point for whoever might be interested in the game. So do not think that you may be excluded by this campaign if you are not an experienced Custos. Samuel is mentioning political slogans that I won't share.
Who is this guy? He's always so disruptive.
He knows stuff. But then, since we talked about contubernia, for those who are listening to us and don't know what that is, a contubernia is a group of players, a group of custodes. So you player are a custos, a group of custodes of players is a contubernium.
It is the unit of
exactly.
Custos. They come together in a contubernia to face the direct threats to the empire. It is not just a group.
It's exactly. It's a team. It's a team.
It's your party.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds cooler when you say it like Ian. What kind of contubernium do you imagine tackling this mission? Just so that maybe we give a little bit of a sneak peek as the build you have to develop for your character.
Yeah, so it's again, because it's a campaign. They're going to be many, many different situations. So you want your contubernia to be as versatile as possible. And once again, you can play the game as newly created characters. So you can make characters especially designed to ace Rise of Atlantis. In that sense, if that's your plan, well, I think this was mentioned in our previous live. Knowing how to swim, having a specialization in that could be a good idea. You know, boats
I don't know, guys.
also
Are you
ships play an
sure?
important
Atlantis, swimming.
Being able, having knowledge and ability to interact with theurgic constructs and Daedala, that's also important, possibly. And what else, Enrico? What
Allegedly.
There's a lot of discoveries waiting for you in the pages of this book. So the managed resourcement will be the most important part of the play. Some informations will be there anytime. Some other will be there at the specific moment. The locations of this campaign are already there, but the order that you choose to explore will matter to the end of the story.
Oh,
And
that's so
only in your
cool.
hands. We can only point the destination, but it's up to you to find the way.
Enrico, is there a wrong order?
No, there is not
Okay.
a right or wrong order. Some orders will be more easy.
Better. Okay.
Some will be not so much easy to do.
But there's no wrong order to it.
Fate in the Gods of Rome. Trust your mates, your contubernium, and roll
that's always
with your dices.
Yeah, that's always it. Sorry, I couldn't. I was saying trusting your contubernia is always the best option there is, absolutely. And what I see, we have a lot of questions, so I want to tackle them a little bit. Speaking about the Rise of Atlantis, I think there will be so many interesting NPC. Can you give us an idea of the one you found the most interesting or funniest or coolest and so on? Marco, you are not asking too much. I think this is a very interesting question. I will leave Ian and Enrico the freedom to say one character each, but not too much. No, don't go too much into it.
I can't say what I want to say. I'll let Enrico go. I'll let Enrico go first on this one.
Oh, well, there is a grumpy old general. It's one of the first character your Custos will encounter, and the bond you will create with him will be very, very important to the story and how the plot unfolds.
Nice.
And I think it will give the masters, the demiurges, I don't know the plural form in English.
I think it would be demiurge. I think it would be.
Okay. Will be an interesting experience to roleplay him and how it confronts and talks with the Custos.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to try to paraphrase mine, so to not be too spoiler heavy. But because this campaign is called Rise of Atlantis, you might think that Atlantis, something connected to Atlantis, and the inhabitants of this something connected to Atlantis may matter to the adventure. Now, if this were the case, there would be NPCs that come from this something connected to Atlantis in some way.
Yeah.
And I think these characters, again, allegedly, would be extremely interesting to role play and to have as both antagonists or maybe even potential
allies
relations for the so
nice.
I think these characters would be really from another world, right? In some ways, one thing we know is that Atlantis has been gone for a very, very long time. The people who come from there will be
are very different.
Exactly.
Nice.
And
I
think
this.
that can be something fun to think about and role play, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Helio has a very interesting question. It says, Minoan Greece was an important part of the setting in The Mystery of Atlantis, a book I read as a kid that made me excited about the Atlantis myth. I wonder if that is also part of the campaign. So Greece, Grecia.
This has already been said, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
The places we will visit during the campaign. Yeah, it has been said. Yeah.
Okay, so indeed, we will visit the island of Crete.
Yeah, we will visit Crete. That will be very interesting. Also, Elias again says, also present in Dacia and Tracia were a few passing references to Robert E. Howard pre-Atlantean Iborian era. I wonder if that will also play a part in the campaign.
Well, legend says that Atlantis tried to conquer Hyperborea, but fail ultimately. Maybe if the expedition series will be good enough and will get the interest of the players, we can look for ourselves what is in the cold north of Europe awaits.
Yeah, that's a nice question. Also because Samuel asks after Atlantis, which are the other extra limina places you'd like to explore in the next books? So
this is something Enrico already said this, and this is something I would love to go north and go to. Well, we've already had lots of hooks. We have Hyperborea, for example, which has been mentioned, but in Britannia there are many mentions of Thule, and that would be another place where I would like to go. Hang out, and it's a great place to go to from Atlantis because or allegedly a place that might somehow be connected to Atlantis.
I love that this is becoming a touristic info point about, sure, you can go from Sardinia to Atlantis and then go to...
Well, to be fair, if you exclude all the antagonists and the dangers and the very real possibility of sudden and violent death for the characters, of course, it would be a great vacation trip.
Absolutely.
Highly
I do see 5 stars on TripAdvisor. I do see.
That's all the Krakens, though. Those were really down. All those Krakens.
Yeah, those were annoying. I do see people saying hello to our beloved Flavia Gallia Scholastica, so Francesca Carello, the author of Roma. Sadly, I cannot seem to find her comments. Francesca, sorry, scusaci, but I'm sure glad that she's here with us. Then we have some
other. She watches
other.
Over us.
Yeah, she watches over us.
Without her.
Yeah. I have a very interesting question. I'm sorry, I cannot. I do not know the name of the user actually asking this question, which is: will we see alternate mechanics for player characters who want to play Custos who practice a religion outside of the official cult, but don't want to be at a disadvantage by losing the fate roll?
So this is a tricky one, right? Because part of the concept of the Custodes is that what makes them exceptional is that they have this connection through their training, etc., to all their supernatural knowledge, but to the gods of Rome who watch over them and grant them these powers. So it's like one of the core points of who these people are. However, I think that's a really interesting question, and I will say that might be explored in the future.
I like your phrasing, Ian. I like your phrasing. I also have another question, which is find the destination through the Antikythera machine. I have to admit my ignorance on this one, but I see Enrico and Ian smiling, so...
Well, maybe it's time for another exploration.
That's nice.
For Atlantis, we have an ongoing Kraken-driven mechanism to creep, so
this Kraken
with
Krakens will be an inside joke. I already know that.
And knows that must bring Custos from every corner of Mediterranean Sea to Atlantis. So maybe in future exploration we'll have the Antikythera mechanism.
Nice.
We don't need we don't need to do it all right now. We have a lot of stuff coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, I do hope that we'll have the chance to do many more expeditions books. So this could be expedition number 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows? But if players will let us know, will give us feedback that the book is enjoyed by talking about the campaign, by actually obviously buying the book and supporting the campaign, I'm absolutely sure that we'd love to delve into the possibilities that expeditions give us. Helios says that he would love to meet good old Plato himself and Aquaman, of course.
Of course. Who wouldn't? Me too.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be future exploration in time, and not not only in space.
Yeah, that would be fun.
When you said space, I actually imagined the Cohors traveling to Mars, which is maybe something we don't want to do quite yet. But,
not now, maybe not now, but who knows?
Not planned.
Yeah. We have Sean asking, what is the geographical location of Atlantis in this setting? I mean, maybe knowing this would be a little bit of a spoiler for who wants to play the campaign, but I think we can safely say a generic area, a very generic area.
Beyond the how do you say this in English?
Hercules pillars, I think.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
The pillars of Hercules.
Exactly. So beyond the limina that's set by Iberia and Lusitania, so you have to go over there. Marco asks, in the Children of Caligula adventure, the Custodes go to Hellespont to search for the scepter of Atlantis. In that case, they learn that there are some submerged Atlantis colonies in the Black Sea. Will they have a part in this great campaign?
Well, we did mention that this adventure starts with a action-packed sequence that wraps up several loose threads left from other adventures.
Yeah, but also we mentioned that you don't have to have the other books to play this. So
no, this is correct, because you could be someone who could be a character who enters it jumping off right from these other materials, and so it's the kind of natural continuation of your adventure. But it can also be that you are someone recruited to do this one big thing, and then suddenly you find yourself way over your head and need to learn to swim, so to say. So both those are completely possible and functional and exciting ways to this campaign. But yeah, those are good references.
Nice. Also, Samuel has unleashed his inner Kraken, saying an Antikythera Kraken, like a kind of retro punk monster. I think we gave.
This could be a stretch goal, a special creature stretch goal.
Yeah, very.
Every time you mention something, Samuel will pick up the word and deal something awful from it.
You mean something awfully cool? Then yes, I agree.
Yeah, awfully cool.
something that then you have to start together with Claudia and Francesca. Then I understand.
There is Claudio for this. There's
Absolutely.
there is the Magister Regularum for doing stuff.
But then that's a very cool proposition. And Marco says, a great campaign to follow the footsteps of Alexander the Great. It would be so cool. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. That could be a very interesting one to develop. But then again, right now all our focus is on the upcoming books, and they are big and chock full of things. So one step at a time. But
it's a juicy package, you might say.
Yeah. But it's nice seeing all the Custodes very excited about these kind of book, the expeditions that we are proposing. So it's very nice. Marco asks, will there be a resume of Atlantean history in this volume? How it was born, becoming great, etc., according to Lex Arcana?
Sure.
Yeah. We do our Custodes with all their alternative histories information. So you will receive all the details you need. Helio asks, structure-wise, I wonder if the book will be structured more like adventure books or the geographical books. So, in other words, the new creatures and rules intersped through the book or on a separate section. This is something we are actually still working on in some capacities. The thing is that obviously we are already working on these books, but they are not written fully. They are not ready yet in any way, shape, or form. They are beautiful Word files right now, full of comments and integration and stuff to mull over.
We will try to make all relevant informations easy accessible.
Yeah.
So we can expect to have non-player characters that strives for all the campaign at the end, maybe at the end of the book, and the NPC relevance for that specific allocation there.
Yeah, and I think.
I'm sorry, Ian, go.
No, just so I think for people who have experience with Lex Arcana adventures and who have run multiple ones, this book should feel in the way we're envisioning it now, and there is still time to tweak this, but this is it would feel rather familiar. So this is really a giant adventure which has the relevant information placed where you need it, etc., etc. And we also are experiencing with other formats, and maybe we'll talk about those in the future. Who knows?
Absolutely. This would be
if Camilla allows us to do so.
I absolutely do. I do think that it's important to get feedback, as I was saying. So it may be something we will decide internally, of course, because if I may say so myself, we have a little bit of experience with producing RPGs by now. So we have a general idea of what we would like this book to look like, and we have a little visitor, a little Custos.
Little Custos here who's trying to get into the frame.
It's right. You have to educate Custos since a very young age. No, what I was saying is that we'd love to hear maybe also your opinions, but we have some ideas and we will tweak them and we will experiment with them before actually putting anything into a layout and then giving it to you. But then again, this will take months, so it's still it's a next part of the project. Right now we are still in the construction and writing and revising and thinking and mulling over part, so it's a bit soon to think about it. It's not soon to think about it, but it's soon to say we have decided 100% about it.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that if there were any worry, we do want to reassure people in the sense that we are experimenting with several different things at this point, which I think will be very exciting, bring a lot of new things to the Lex Arcana world. But we're also very aware of the strengths that Lex Arcana has and the things that people have grown to love, and rightfully so. So you heard all about Rome, for example, last week, which is a geographical model, and you'll find it built in the way that you're used to. And with Atlantis, we're not inventing the wheel. We are trying to expand and broaden the adventure style format that Lex Arcana has already developed, and in all of these different projects, we're trying to balance these things out, and some are closer to the bones of Lex Arcana with the geographical models, and other things will be a bit more experimental. But we are very aware of why people like it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we don't want to change that.
Yeah, exactly. We want to do something that's it's our objective is threefold, basically. We want to do something that is recognizably Lex Arcana, something that's useful for the players. So it has to be something that gives you an easy access to gaming, to playing, and then it has to be aesthetically pleasing, because we do love our books to be beautiful. So basically, we have to find an equilibrium between these three things. And we'll try wholeheartedly to do so. Marco asked for a miniature of the ship of the expedition to Atlantis as an early bird. I think it would be a little bit complicated doing something like that, but I don't know. As a stretch goal, if we make like $1 gazillion, maybe we can. Yeah, that's a real number. But maybe we can think about it as a stretch goal. Helio is pleased
if we
with
make $1 billion, we'll just send you the full ship.
Yeah, exactly. Helio is pleased with the NPC stat block in a separate section. Marco likes the adventure structure in Lex Arcana. Sean agrees with Marco on this, and Marco says that they are beautiful so far. That we thank you. We like to hear that. So yeah, we have a good starting point. We just have to be sure that it's for a whole book, which obviously is different, because it's different to a project for a 10 pages layout, and then for a I don't know how many 100 pages layout. Not that much, but I mean, it will be, as we said at the beginning, it will be thick. With prolonged, we really were chatty in this English live. So I think that maybe
I think it's because the second one we were all more relaxed.
Yeah, that may be. And I just wanted to share with our international backers as well a more detailed, bigger reveal of our Atlantis cover, because you can actually see it already on our page, on our Kickstarter preview, which I will share again. Elio says, talking about aesthetically pleasing, what about the cover image? You can see a little bit of a box on our Kickstarter pre-campaign page, but that's I know that's not what you want. You want the one with the full details, so here you have it.
So Rise Atlantis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently I am a mind reader. Who knows? And I do love this cover. I think it explains perfectly what Atlantis will be, with the color palette, with the scene also, because it's interesting, it's curious, you want to be there, but at the same time you sense the danger. I think that it really sums up well what Atlantis will be like. What do you think about it, guys?
It's gorgeous.
It's adventure. That's what this campaign and this expedition series is supposed to be about. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I love it. I love it very, very much. This illustration is done by Giovanni Calore, and we will see many other illustrations by him in the book, in the Rise of Atlantis book, and we'll share maybe some preview of it on our Facebook group and pages in the upcoming days, because this week will basically be devoted to Atlantis. So we'll do some preview of maybe some of the themes and just so that we have a nice image to accompany it with. It may be a preview of Giovanni's illustration from this book, for this book. So keep in touch, stay tuned, as they say. Sean says, it reminds me of the adventure books I would read as a kid.
Yes.
That's the feeling.
That's the vibe.
The feeling. Yeah. Elio says, whoa, give me a minute as I pick up my Joe off the floor. Be right back. Yeah, that's the feeling. Oh, Marco asks, what's the biggest challenge for you during this book? Fighting the Kraken. That's the answer.
Yeah, the page limit. The page limit. That's the Kraken.
The page limit.
I think it actually might be that.
Yeah. Because we want to write about it, about everything. Elias says the sense of scale and adventure is spectacular in the cover image. The Custos swimming along with the Tritons. Wow. The imagination is racing already. That's exactly what we wanted to achieve. I'm very glad you're saying this, Elio. And then Claudio says, our Magister Regulorum that you met last week during the live stream, says to individuate all the spoilers, real Custos has to see both lives in Italian and English.
Yeah, exactly.
Sadly, I mean, we will try and speak very slowly so that the automatic translator can pick up and try and translate everything. Marco says the page limit is the true evil. Yeah, it is. But I'm sure that Enrico and the Undefeated it without any problem. Will defeat it without any problem. And I do think, guys, that we've revealed enough for today, and there's a week of content about Atlantis awaiting us, and also next week there will be the fall. We will have to talk about our third volume. That will be an interesting conversation.
The Secret Mystery one that still doesn't have a real image of it on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah, and it won't have one for a little while. This one will make itself waited for. We will have to. Yeah, it will be a secret for a little while more, but we will start spilling some beans about what's going to happen in there. So, stay tuned, don't miss that. It's always on Monday. We like this day, and always at 5:40-ish p.m. GMT +1. So basically Rome time. Easier than...
we would need to do it at that time wherever we were, really.
Yeah, exactly. It will be a true Rome time. So I thank you all for being with us here tonight, and then I thank everyone that's actually watching this at a later date, since we know that talking to international audiences means that sometimes our time zones are not really friendly for all the corners of the empire, but we try our best. And then again, if you have any kind of comment, every kind of question that you would have liked to ask, please feel free to do so in our YouTube comments. And then again, on Facebook in the Lex Arcana group, we are all there, and so we are all ready to answer, if it's not too much of a spoiler, obviously, because we don't want to ruin the fun for everyone. So thank you again, Ian and Enrico, for talking with us today, for revealing us a lot of stuff about Atlantis, and for sharing your your author's view on the project. Thank you to everyone who participated with us, who commented and asked questions, and we'll see everyone very, very soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.